This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is David Nixon and we're going to go through today the one thing that you should fake until you make. Yes, the age-old quote of fake it until you make it. It's probably served a lot of entrepreneurs. It's maybe served a lot of I don't think it will serve very many sports stars because there's a certain you got to be good enough, right? But the quality of that quote has been, I've heard it numerous times throughout my life, and I feel like it's been said as more of a justification than an actual mentor's or a coach's, at least a quality mentor or quality coach's piece of advice. Now, I'm sure that there's been times where that's really served someone, but from my experience, there is only one thing that you should fake until you make, and funnily enough, that one thing that you should fake till you make is actually sleeping. Sleeping is the only thing that we do that we should fake sleeping until we actually fall asleep, which is, if you think about it, it's kind of funny. But other than that, the idea of faking it until you're making it, it's probably, if it was to sit on the Enneagram as a quality, I probably would link it more to probably the type 3, the achiever, which is the achiever they want to present themselves as now this is a very broad term because there are different levels of healthiness through each Enneagram type, but the type 3 on more of an unhealthier level will try and fake it until they make it. They'll try and look the part before they are the part. They're dressed for the job that you want, not the one that you have. Now, when you start to look at dress for the job that you want, not the one you have, that doesn't necessarily mean faking it. So it's, even though there may be those two lines, maybe cousins, they're not directly twin brothers, so to speak. And so you think about the difference of no, you should dress for the job you have. It's no, you should have aspirations and you should act toward those aspirations. But faking it until you make it is a different concept, right? Now, what that may be doing, the whole idea, it probably definitely comes down under imposter syndrome. So if you feel like my last podcast, that there is this certain level of imposter syndrome that you have, if you haven't already, go back and listen to that podcast. Otherwise, what you may be inclined to do is, because you don't trust yourself, that you have to fake it. It's no, you're not faking anything. You're just being, you're learning. And when you have to fake something to make it, you're actually probably ignoring the fact that you're missing being the student. And there's something powerful about being the student, because in any workplace, the professional, you're not allowed to fuck up. You're as a professional, your opportunity of fucking up in this space is significantly less. You're the professional now. You can't fake that shit. But as the student, you're allowed to stuff up a little bit, right? In fact, you kind of expect that from the student. Now, yes, we are always students. We are always students of life, and I've talked about that many a times. But what I'm really referring to with this is looking at it and going, if we try to fake something that we're not, we lose the opportunity of the learning process to get to actually earn that spot, right? And this is where people that want things in this microwave society, I want things quickly, I want things to turn over fast. What's the fastest way to lose weight? It's it doesn't matter. And I talk about this so fucking much, is that we sacrifice progression for results. And we want things quick that took a long time to get. I want to lose this weight quickly. It's dude, you put that weight on over fucking 20 years. There's not just the weight that goes with that. It's the emotional, it's the mental, it's the spiritual, it's the identity, it's all of that. I can get you skinny in 12 weeks, depending on the individual, right? That's all well and good, but you don't feel any different. You think you would, but you don't. And so that's why probably 19 out of 20 people, if not probably more, go back over time. They put the weight back on, inverted commas. It's man, mentally and emotionally, that weight never left you. That was the issue. So we're losing a holistic view of this situation. And so when we actually accept the process that this is a long-term game that you're playing, right? That you start to think macro and act micro. And that's a really crucial thing. It's I'm thinking big picture, but I'm working for today. And I'm going to hustle my ass off for whatever it is that I'm going to do today. And I'm going to keep thinking macro, but I'm going to bust my ass and know that I got the most out of this minute, this hour, this day, this week, this month. And this is the whole thing, is that people underestimate They overestimate what they can do in a year, and they underestimate what they can do in 10. And you can use that scale on anything. People overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate in a week. Overestimate in a week, underestimate in a month, etc., etc. And so the thing about it, though, is that if you're able to have that perspective, you're able to step back and look at it and keep the macro and understand that being the student is going to let you be the professional. You will not be the professional without being the student. And this is something so crucial. It's like learn on the job, be the student, be the apprentice, and take ownership of that. Because when you take ownership of that, you can take ownership of your mistakes. And when you take ownership of your mistakes, you can actually teach other people how to learn from them. And that's how you move into the expert. That's how you move into being the professional. I've had to close down businesses. I've stuffed up many of client relationships, just by my own regard. But there's 2 people to party in that, 3 people to party in that, and learning it and sitting back and going, where could I do better, and where did I probably step wrong, right? And then looking at it in many other areas. And when you're able to foresee all of this and the mistakes, you're able to go, hey guys, here's some mistakes that I've learned. Hopefully this helps you. Like, there's power to that. Rather than me sitting here and being like, so this is how you have a killer mindset, this is how you win the day, if you follow my 12-step plan, then you'll win every single day and you'll never have to worry about being upset or in a bad position or uncomfortable ever again. Like, what fucking life is that? We need to accept that there's a fair amount of suffering through life. And I used to think suffering was what the weak did. Now I understand it's what the weak avoid. Moving through like this conscious decision to move through suffering actually makes you stronger. That adversity actually makes you stronger. But when suffering happens upon me, then I become the victim, and then that's where it's like, I'm going to avoid that, so I'm just going to fake it until I make it. It's like, no, that's not how it works. So moving through and being the student and moving through suffering, that's how you really, truly become the professional, And whatever the professional is for you, whatever that is, right? That could be the professional nurse, right? And it doesn't mean that you never swear. It just means that you're genuinely who you are, but you're good at what you do, right? You're really good at what you do. And in all of our careers, it's crucial to be really good at what we do. And so that's where my conversation all the time is like, question everything that you do from a place of curiosity, because that's how you get better, not from a place of like doubt. That's a really different thing, right? From a place of curiosity compared to a place of doubt. And so the last thing that I really want to sort of lead this with was a quote. So I've been fortunate enough to travel through the States. I think I spent about 16 weeks there, traveled literally all the way through the States. I don't know how many states, as in the States, the States and States. So, and by the way, thank you to all my American listeners. I know, I think 1 in 5 of my podcasts are downloaded in America. So I love you all. Thank you very much. And I can't wait to get back to America next year. Hopefully run some seminars. So the thing with what I learned in America, I spent a bit of time with C.T. Fletcher. Okay, if you don't know who C.T. Fletcher is, just YouTube. You'll see this enthusiastic African American that loves lifting weights. That's the easiest way I'm going to put it, but he's also got a pretty interesting story. So if you do some research, you'll see more. But either way, I was fortunate enough I did some training with him in Signal Hill, California, and I also did some interviewing. So at the time I was writing for Men's Muscle and Health magazine here in Australia, and I wanted to interview a few people. And so he was one of the people that I went and spoke to. And I said to him, I go, why do you think you are where you are today? And why do you think you are who you are today? And he sort of goes, man, he just shakes his head and he's like, I'm just an old motherfucker that held on when everyone else let go. Play the long game. You've got to be the student before you're the professional. And whatever you do, keep rocking up and keep going. Team, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And if you did enjoy this podcast, I would love it if you would share it with your friends that you think who will also enjoy this podcast. Otherwise, as always, until next time, peace and pizza, kick today in the dick, and slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.